We are in. Welcome in, everybody. If you are here joining us, we've got a great interview today with Miss Jen Neitzel. I want you to go ahead and put in the chat, in the comments, to let me know who's here, where you're from, before we get started, before we introduce Jen, so that we can know who's here in the house tonight. I can't wait to get into this topic. I see that you guys are slowly creeping in, so come on in, come on in. Let's see. Oh, we got Facebook. Look like Facebook is having issues, but YouTube is still on. I'll have to figure out that one later. Hey, Ashley. Hey, Andrea in Austin. Hello, guys. Hi, Ria. Hello. Come on in, Tony. I see you in Cali. First time on live chat. Finally, you caught one, Ria. I'm glad to see you here. Vicky, everybody. Yes, Georgia. Yes, I'd love for you to comment where you're at so we can see, where we're reaching everyone at today. Hi from New Orleans, Dallas, Florida. Awesome. Thank you, guys. I'm glad to see that chat's working properly. We're going to go ahead and get started. All right. So welcome to another episode of the Signature Moves Notary Business Podcast. I'm your host, Amber Gist. And today we have a special treat for you. If you're a notary looking to level up your marketing game, grab your notepad because we are sitting down with the one and only Jen Neitzel of Marketing4Notaries. Let's all give her a round of applause in the chat. Clap for her. Give a one for your excitement. Jen, how are you feeling today?
I am excited to be here. This is my first time doing a live on YouTube. So this is exciting for me.
All right. Well, I'm glad to be your first.
You are.
Okay. I'm so excited to have this conversation because you have built something pretty amazing for the notary industry, but I know the road hasn't always been smooth sailing. So we're going to dive into the real unfiltered journey, challenges, wins, lessons, and of course, marketing strategies that work. Does that sound like something you can do with us today, Jen?
Absolutely. I am ready.
All right, let's go. So let's take it back to the beginning.
Okay.
What made you decide to dive into the world of notary marketing?
Well, I got fired from my mortgage job. There was a corporate layoff, and I was one of the 25 or 30% that got let go. And I came home. It was a big hit to my ego. This one, it was a big hit. And I had worked my way up, in the company pretty good bit and just really wasn't expecting it. And so I came home and I licked my wounds for 3 months and I started looking for a job. And this was back in 2017. And this may sound familiar because the mortgage cycle is very cyclical. It goes like up and down all the time. Absolutely. But mortgage companies just weren't hiring. So I realized I'm going to need to go into sales if I'm going to make the kind of money that I was making in mortgage. And so I started looking around at sales jobs and I realized, wait a minute, if I'm going to sell somebody else's junk, I'm only going to get part of the money. So I want to get all the money. Like maybe I should start my own business. And I had hired mobile notaries many times in the past. And I didn't have the warm fuzzies about mobile notaries. And I thought to myself, wow, this is really something that could be done differently. It's something that could be done better. So that's really kind of where it started was I feel like I could bring another level to this. And so I got out there and started trying to build my own business. And man, did I make a lot of mistakes. I mean, so many marketing mistakes. And I realized from 2017 to 2019, when I originally launched a marketing platform, that the mistakes that I had made sort of led me down this path to creating a marketing system that I call the 5-point marketing system.
Okay.
And once I implemented that into my business, I saw from all my mistakes and attempts at marketing, I kind of saw a pattern. And so I put this 5 points together. And I started working the 5 points for over a year. And my business increased by my revenue
Mm-hmm.
by 75%.
Awesome. Wow.
So I'm like, okay, if this works for me, because at this point, it'd been 2 years and you start talking, meeting other notaries in your area and talking to them and
Mm-hmm.
realizing that at the time, this was 2019 when we originally launched, you know, most notary marketing was, bring in a $5 Starbucks gift card to the receptionist, right? Or send a flyer. And it's just kind of, I don't know, it just felt stale.
Yeah.
So I wanted to provide a more intensive training, because if you don't have a marketing plan, I don't care what business you start, whether it's mobile notary, you're selling shoes, opening a restaurant, you're a tax accountant, whatever it is, if you're starting your own business, you have to have a marketing plan.
Absolutely.
And you've got to be able to get out there and build your know, like, and trust factor in your community. So that's what I focus on, is really helping people build relationships in their communities.
Well, you definitely are the GOAT, the guru for sure.
Thank you.
All right. So every entrepreneur does have that one, like, what the heck am I doing moment. What was yours and how did you push through that?
I had started. One of the things I did differently when I went out to market myself in the beginning was I kept a notebook. I journal a lot often, and so I would write down, like, this worked, this didn't work, do this again, don't do that again. You sounded like an idiot when you said, all the things.
Mm-hmm.
So don't repeat that. Um, in the beginning, and a lot of people don't know this, my mobile notary business was called A Piece of Cake Mobile Notary, little play on the words.
Okay, I
And
like that.
I know, I was like, oh, this is so adorable. And my sister-in-law, who at the time lived down the street, was or is a professional baker. And so I'm like, oh, I can just have her make her delicious cupcakes and, bring one to every closing. And that'll be like my little signature, right? My little leave behind.
Okay.
Well, a few months in, and she doesn't feel like being at my house every 3 nights baking loads of cupcakes, right? Which I completely understand.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm gonna have to bake. Well, I'm not a baker. So I went to do some in-person marketing. And I'll tell you, it was at a Republic Title in Irving, Texas.
Uh-huh.
And I was so excited. I got up that morning. I had made homemade, it was in the fall, homemade pumpkin muffins. And I'm so excited about this moment, bringing these in. My first, my sister-in-law didn't do it. I did it. I bring in these homemade muffins and this was the title company that I had closed on my home with. So there was a level of comfort there, right? And the branch manager was walking me around, introducing me to everybody. It takes me into the pit where all the escrow assistants are, and I'm passing out the pumpkin muffins. Girl, they went to bite into that muffin and it was raw.
Oh my gosh. Jen.
So you talk about having to push through like a bad moment. like I it was
What?
it was terrible. I was like, oh my, and I'm trying to backpedal, I'm trying to blame other people, like all these
Yeah.
ideas are going through my head. Like, what am I gonna say about this? And I literally just like, nobody is perfect.
Right.
Going to make mistakes and be uncomfortable when
Right.
you're marketing.
Yeah.
And it's still a moment that I think about often when I make mistakes. Like if I can survive not just one person, but like
Wrong.
6 biting into an unbaked muffin that I'm all, happy and delivering, and I can push through that and make a joke out of it, I can be uncomfortable in situations and push through. So that's something that I definitely took the lesson on, which was I just made a joke of it. It was like, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
part of it though, right? You persevered and then you owned it eventually, right?
You gotta own it.
Looking forward, you didn't stop.
You
You didn't say, you know
no.
what, this isn't for me because of this one hiccup, right?
No,
We've
yeah.
got to have what that grit to keep going. We got to just, bite the bullet and say next time.
That's exactly right. That's
Time.
exactly right.
All right, so let's move into some of your wins. What was the first big moment where you felt like, yes, this is working and I'm making an impact?
I've been very fortunate to have many of those moments in my career in this space, and some big moments like when we launched Notary Business Builder, or when I say we, some business partners of mine, Bill Soroka and Laura Bewer,
Mm-hmm.
we launched our certified trust delivery agent training. I mean, I had some big moments. Launching my own community when we rebranded originally from Signing Agent Marketing, Marketing4Notaries, was a big moment. But really, the moment that I really realized that, like, this system I created, which is not, it's not earth shattering rocket science. It's good old fashioned marketing that's been around forever. I just put it in a framework that you can sort of inject in your business.
Yeah.
But step one is meeting people. I call it a pop in. Step two is following up with those people. Step three is a monthly shout out where you keep in touch with people every month. And that step three was really hard for me in the beginning, because we feel often as marketers, salespeople, because we're all salespeople, whether we want to admit it or not.
I know.
We
I
feel like
hate to admit that, but it is what it is.
if you've got a business, you have to be.
Yeah.
Right. So I started seeing myself wanting to give up. I've followed up with this person for 3 or 4 months in a row, and I've heard nothing back. So I would want to give up, but I kept pushing through, and I did it. For some people, it was like a year. For some, it was like 18 months.
Mm-hmm.
And once I got into like the 8, 9, 10-month stretch, I started seeing them engage with me and offering me jobs because I had been showing up
Yeah.
their inbox once a month. And so it proved to me really that that moment was big, because it proved the long-term strategy of marketing is what you need to focus on for the bigger wins.
Yeah.
When you focus on the short term, it just doesn't set you up for that long-term success. And that's what we're all looking for.
Absolutely.
None of us want to be out there hustling for 10 years straight, right? Like, we want to get to a point where we've got some clients rolling in and we're able to stay in touch with them, and businesses, steadily rolling in over time. So once I figured out that step three, and to still push even when I felt like I wasn't bothering somebody, or I was bothering somebody, but that's what it takes to build a relationship, So that was huge for me in my business, and really started seeing, that's when I started seeing like that 75% increase in revenue, which was great.
Well, speaking of impact, every student, mentee, people that I come across where they've come to me and they took your program, or they've met you or worked with you and your team in any way, I mean, the impact is there. It's always great things, positive things.
Oh, thanks.
Learned a lot. When they implement it, they are getting exactly what they put into it.
Yeah.
And so I want to pose a question in the chat while we go on to the next question, so we can just peruse through those. Let us know in the chat, do you have a marketing strategy? Or are you out here going blind, hoping they just knock on your door and say, be my notary?
I call it throwing spaghetti against the wall and just see what sticks, right?
Yeah. I want to know. Let me know. And it's okay if you don't, because literally that is what we're all here for. All of us educators. Jen is here specifically to teach you how to market. All right. But I just want to know our experience level here today in this live. If you are joining us on the replay, still comment, because you guys know that I come back and I answer literally every comment. And I want to engage with you. I'm sure Jen's going to be on there too, engaging. So yes, willy-nilly, Alicia, you're willy-nilly marketing.
No, come on.
Well, you know what? We're going to work on that. Just commission, ready to learn. Yes, blindly doing it. That's fine. I like to see all those different experiences. Go ahead and keep going in the chat. We're going to keep going on with this interview because I'm already like getting pumped up the further we're going, because now we're about to get into the meat of it all. Okay.
Yeah,
So
let's go.
let's get into what notaries really want to know: how to market themselves effectively. What's the biggest mistake you see notaries making when it comes to marketing their business?
They don't follow up. Or it's just what I was just saying. I mean, honestly, that is the biggest mistake. They get worked up. They work up all the courage to focus on the first part of the 5-point marketing system, which is what I call the pop-in, which is walking into a business and introducing yourself. And that takes a tremendous amount of preparation, of understanding that you got to get uncomfortable and going through all those emotions. And then they don't follow up. And they don't continue to follow up every month. And they say things like, oh, I don't want to bother anybody, or I don't want to be a burden. And that's not how marketing works. And there's a lot of, we all get a ton of emails from different companies all the time that are following up with different things. But I teach people to follow up with value. To talk about different things going on in your community. So you're not just talking about being a notary or new notary laws or new whatever, because nobody really cares except for us notaries, right? Nobody wants a big long explanation of the rules and regulations for remote online notarization in the general public. Like, we love that.
Right.
But so I teach people to, provide value, talk about things in their communities, look for different funky holidays and things like that to promote, and just be okay with showing up in somebody's inbox once a month for a year to 18 months, because that's what it takes to build a relationship. Research tells us it's 14 email attempts before you get one response on average. Most people will send one follow-up email and they're like, I haven't heard from anybody.
I wish we could put that on a billboard. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the number one thing I'll say. What's your follow-up been, or what's your strategy? Oh, I just reached out once. I'm like, well,
you've not done it enough yet. Yeah. And then and then when they do reach out, but I haven't heard back from this one person. It's like, well, if you're going if you're going to only talk to one person, what kind of business is that? You need to be talking to all different kinds of people that can use your services, and not just in one area of specialty, whether that's trusts or loan signings is the big one in this industry. Everybody wants to focus on loan signings, right? But there's so many other things that we can do. It's very easy to diversify as a mobile notary. And you do an amazing job of teaching people how to do that.
Thank you. Yeah. I like to talk about not putting all your eggs in one basket, right?
Yeah. It's the worst. Notaries found out in October of 2022, what it feels like to put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah. And a lot of them just left because they just, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. I learned that lesson the hard way too. I was included in that. So yeah.
Yep. I think there's a lot of people that were in that same boat.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. So before we go to the next question, when you were talking about like the pop-ins and things like that, if you guys were not at the Empower Notary Summit last year, Jen was the keynote speaker, and she talked a lot about those of us who think we're introverts as marketers and salesmen. And she had such a great lesson for you all that are scared, that are shy, that are scared of the no, that don't want to get out, because I'm a true introvert. Jen taught me, of course, maybe what did you call it? What is it when you
Ambivert is in the middle. Yeah.
Amnivert, right?
Mhm.
Because you've got to get out there and meet people, mingle, talk, and talk about your services, but also talk to people about their services and how you can be integrated into their life.
Yeah.
And so I do encourage you guys, when you guys reach out to Jen, if you're feeling shy and you're feeling introverted and you're thinking like, okay, I got the skills, but I don't have the personality. You can overcome that. You can
Oh,
100% overcome that.
absolutely. And that's why I have this whole community, Marketing for Notaries community, is to help people do that and go through the training. For the 5-point marketing system alone, it's almost 9 hours of training, and
Right.
almost 2 of those hours are focused on fear, introversion, resistance, all of those things, because
So
it is
important.
so normal to feel that way. I tell people I'm an introvert. Nobody believes me. I'm sure they say the same thing to you. Like,
No one believes me either.
you're not an introvert. It's not about shyness. Introversion is not shyness. It's how you recharge your energy. And most people will say to me, I can't do this, Jen, because I'm an introvert. Well, I'm an introvert and I did it and it works. And so have many others. And,
Right.
I saw um, Bernice Williams on here. I think she's still on here. I know she's somebody, her name caught my eye. She's somebody that's been through the system and understand, you got to work yourself up through it and learn about it.
Right.
Because when you're more aware of these things, you
Hmm.
can push through that resistance. But that
Right.
introversion, man, we
Yep.
tell ourselves that often to get out of doing the hard
Yep.
stuff. But when
And
you get stuck there, you don't make any money.
right. And learning about that part of yourself and how to come out of that is just as important about learning the skill of whatever the notary service is you're doing. Because if you can't get out of the shell and out of that blockage, then you're never going to get to where people can use your services because they don't know about you. They don't know who you are. They don't know what you do.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not just, you can't just like, throw up a website and put it out on Facebook and expect to have business. You have to have a strategy. You have to have a plan. And part of that, actually a big part of it, as far as I'm concerned, is working on your own personal growth.
Absolutely. I agree 1000%.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to the next question. If a notary came to you today and said, Jen, I have zero marketing strategy, like many of you have said in the chat right now,
Mm-hmm.
where do I even start? What would be your top 3 pieces of advice? I know you kind of already talked about some things, but can you just pop 3 of them, the
Yeah.
pop 3 pieces out for us?
You got it. So, number one, you need a Google business profile. Period. End of story. Gotta have it. Must, must, must. Even over a website, you must have a Google business profile. The second thing is you have to build, you're not just going to build relationships that way. Your online presence is not going to be the only way that you build a business. There's 2 proven ways. This is something we talked about in the keynote last year. There's 2
Mhm.
proven ways to build a business. It's your online presence, Google business profile. So that's a must. And then building relationships. You have to get out and build relationships, especially in this business, because people are trusting you to see their most personal information.
Mhm.
Social security numbers, financial statements, banking, I mean, all kinds of personal stuff. And they don't want to sit down with somebody random that they
Right.
just found, like they want to be able to trust that the person they're sitting with is not going to be like secretly memorizing their social security number to rip them off later, right? So, actual story that happened with a notary years ago I heard about. But
Right.
um so I would say building those relationships is important. And the easiest way to do that is to invest in your local chamber of commerce. So that would be number 2.
Okay.
Invest in joining your local chamber of commerce. It is worth every penny. And don't just invest, you have to actually go to the meetings and stuff. You have
Okay. Because
to get out there and
it's also so it's expensive. So what you use it.
well, yeah. I mean, I think too, that would be my third piece of advice, actually, is
Hmm.
you have to understand coming into this business, you are going to have to pay for things to enhance your business. It is not just free to start a notary business, just like it's not free to start a restaurant or to start a bakery or something. Like you have to make these kinds of investments of your time and of your money. So I would say understanding that there's this idea, and I think it's just permeated by different influencers and things on social media that are in the notary space, that get your notary stamp and you're going to be making six figures. That sounds great.
Yeah.
But that's not what it takes. And you have to get out there and work on yourself. You've got to work on meeting people, building those relationships, and understanding that you have to reinvest in your money, in your business, if you want to level up.
Right.
And can I just tell you, I can't join the chat because I'm a Mac user, and so I don't know my password to my YouTube right off the top of my head. But I want to. Graceful Nina is saying I'm an introvert. So I guess I'm just fooling myself. Let me just say, Nina, no, you can do this. You can absolutely do this. I'm an introvert. Amber just told you she's an introvert, and we have both gotten comfortable being uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. But the only way to get past those fears of in-person marketing, of going to a networking meeting, of leaving the house, the only way to get through those fears is action.
Yeah.
Action. Yeah. So you absolutely can do it, Nina. And this is why community is so important, whether it's Notary Training Hub, Marketing for Notaries, whatever your preferred community is. That's why. So you have somebody supporting you that understands what you're going through and what you're feeling.
Right. I can't say that better. All right. So let's get spicy. Let's get a little spicy. Okay. What's an outdated or overhyped marketing tactic that you think notaries should stop wasting time on?
Flyers. Was that too fast?
You probably heard a few people there on that one who are like spending all their time on like, I got 12 flyers.
So it's, it costs money to print up these flyers. And I would say probably 99% of them end up in the trash. I have been in title offices when I was out actively marketing and seen a title officer open a flyer that came in the mail. They're like, oh, look at this, went right in the trash. A professional company is going to hire the people that they know are professional representation. If you're too shy to walk in the office, chances are they're going to go with the person that did walk in the office, that they were able to look up and down and say, oh, they're dressed professionally. They can have a conversation with me. This is someone I would feel comfortable sending out in as a representative of my business. Mm-hmm. The person sitting behind the flyer is scared to get out there, and they know that right off the top. They say that, oh, too scared to come in, and throw it away. And it's not just title companies.
Right. They want to see who you are, your personality. They want to see, some of them want to see how you talk. How professional do you sound when you talk? Your dress, your attire, how you present yourself. Mm-hmm. So those are all chances to impress someone by going in versus only sending in a flyer.
Yeah. And yes, it's scary. And yes, you absolutely need support for that, which is why I have a whole community for it. That's all we do is talk about this kind of stuff and fear and resistance and marketing tactics, of course. But yeah, it's the flyers. I just feel like it's burning money.
Yeah.
I know some people have to start, like, they feel like they have to go through the process. But it's something I wish would go away.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can see that, especially for title companies and attorneys. I wouldn't see where bringing in a flyer would be the best option. I do know flyers do well, like in retirement centers and nursing facilities, when you ask to put them on their like
Yes.
community wall
Mhm.
or in the front with the liaison or something like that. But I agree with you as far as like going to an attorney. They're so busy. They really don't even have time to hear you breathe. So when so you've got to go in and make that impression and then leave that business card and get their business card and then start the follow up.
Yeah. And it's not, Dawn was asking this in the chat. It's not about, if you leave behind a flyer because you have gone into this space to meet somebody and start to build a relationship, and you want to work for this assisted living facility or whatever it is, nursing home, yeah, it's totally fine as a leave behind.
Mm-hmm.
I promote making little pop-ins, little gifts. I'm a good old Southern girl. If you're gonna pop into somebody's office and take 5 minutes of their day talking to them, I'm going to leave them a little something.
Right.
And if you want that little something to be a flyer, great, that's fine. But don't just mail it out and expect that you're going to get business that
Yeah,
way.
absolutely agree. Absolutely. All right, I see some of you got some questions in there. Don't worry. We have a little bit of time at the end here to get to all those questions. I've been looking and keeping tally. And so let's go ahead and get to learn a little bit more about you, Jen.
Okay.
Let's get to know you a little better. So we're going to call this a quick fire round. All right. No overthinking.
Got it.
Just say the first thing that comes to mind. Are you game?
I'm game.
All right. What's your guilty pleasure snack while working?
Cheese.
Okay. What's one business tool you can't live without?
ChatGPT.
Okay.
Girl, no, I don't even
What?
know what I did before it.
I'm trying to figure out what were we doing, or spending hours and hours and hours is what we were doing.
That's exactly right. Yeah. But
All the
ChatGPT,
time.
all caps on that one.
100% with you on that one. ChatGPT literally could get all my money. I don't
Mhm.
care. Okay, let's keep going. Let's see. If you had to describe your marketing style in 3 words, what would they be?
Humorous, consistent, and evolving.
Okay, I like that evolving one for sure.
Mhm.
What's the weirdest marketing request you've ever gotten from a notary?
I have requests from notaries frequently. They want me to do their marketing for them, um,
Yeah.
which they want me to write blog posts for them and create email sequences for them,
Are
and
you a content creator too,
and
Jen?
and all of those
Content
things.
specialist?
Well, it's not my business. I actually, like, one person came to me very like, here's what I'm looking for. I'm willing to pay for it. Like, I'm like, maybe I should think about this. Okay. And so I came up with what I thought was a very reasonable quote. And their budget was only $150 a month. And I was like,
It
no.
takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time. No,
I
no.
don't think you understand what's
Yeah,
involved here.
yeah. Agreed. Agreed. Okay. What's the best advice you've ever received in business?
Be consistent and just showing up. What's that book, 3 Feet from Gold?
Mhm.
Just the people that stay in this business and are successful are the ones that have just stayed consistent with their efforts, with their marketing efforts. Um, like in your case, your training efforts, your content creation. I'm doing the same thing on my end. So it's just be consistent in everything you do, and don't just give up.
Yeah, good.
Because some days as entrepreneurs, we have those moments. You've had that moment too, where we've all been like, "Oh, this is too much. I can't
Yeah,
do this."
all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Got to push through though, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So thank you for sharing a little bit more about you. Before we get to Q&A, I would love for you to share with our community any upcoming events that you have within your community or where you're going to be at. And then at the end, of course, we'll talk more about how they can reach out to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am going to be in Michigan in May doing the keynote there at the Michigan Notary Boot Camp. I'm very excited, May 16th and 17th for this one.
Okay.
And then Snyder is going to be there as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. And then the National Notary Association. I'm actually going to have a booth this year, an exhibitor booth. I've never done that before. So, there.
Okay, guys, we're all going to meet at Jen's booth.
That's right.
I'm going to send out like a thing and we're like all going to meet there and like do something special for you.
It's a thing. So let's do like a big group picture. We're planning all kinds of fun stuff we have 17 so far Marketing for Notaries members that are coming.
Ooh.
So we're planning all kinds of fun stuff for our little group, scavenger hunts and things like that. So it's going to be, we're going to make it as fun as possible.
Definitely.
And then yours is my last one for the year, which I'm really looking forward to. If you guys didn't go to Empower Notary Summit last year, even if you were there last year, go again. You know how great it is. Honestly, Amber, one of the best conferences I've ever been to. It was outstanding.
Thank you. Thank you. And yes, so this year we've got that second implementation day.
Yes.
I'm doing the whole play on my teacher background in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually like no child left behind. So we're like doing no notary left behind. We're not leaving any notaries behind.
I love it.
As long as y'all are here and y'all are really ready to put in the work, we got you. So very, very excited. I can't wait to see you at both of those conferences. I won't be able to make it to Michigan. I was really trying, but I have another thing I have to get out to. But I know next year we're going to make it happen.
There you go. She does a great job too on her conferences, and she's really nice. Really getting focused this year with some intense workshops.
And what can you the specific name of it again? Some are asking. Is it
Michigan Notary? Wait, Michigan Notary Bootcamp. So Amber, because I can't, I'm going to send you just my link tree that has all this information in it.
Okay.
And if that's okay. And then can you add that to the chat?
Right. Yes. So this is a live YouTube video. However, it will live on the YouTube channel. So in the caption of the video, all of the links will be there already. So cool. That people won't have to scroll through the chat to find your links. So we're going to put it right there in the description of the video.
Nice.
All right. So Tiffany, let's go ahead and get to questions then. We've got some time for Q&A, and then we'll close out with Jen again, verbally telling us about where we can find her. And then for those of you that are like on the replay and want to come back, we will have all her links in the description, guys. Okay. I promise I won't leave you hanging there. All right, so let's go ahead and get to some questions. I see the first one. Tiffany says, where can we purchase tickets for the conference? So for mine, it's directly on the website. It's called empowernotarytx.com. And then for the National Notary, it's nationalnotary.org. And then for the Michigan Bootcamp one, again, I'm not quite sure. I don't want to like spit out the wrong URL, but it will be linked in the description, I promise. Okay, Tiffany?
I'm trying to, that one. Oh, it's an Eventbrite one. So it's really long. So okay. Yeah. And it's in the
search it in Eventbrite, it'll pop up too.
Yeah.
Right?
It will. Yeah. Just search Michigan Notary Bootcamp and it'll pop up.
Okay. Awesome. This one's for you, Jen. Amelia says, what do you suggest as like a gift, or I guess she's maybe saying for like the pop-in?
Yeah. So great question. You can really do anything. Here's two things to stay away from, just Amelia, because they're overplayed and people do them way too much. And that's a box of donuts or the Starbucks gift cards. Okay. So stay away from those. But I actually have what I call a static pop-in, and it's a little mesh bag, 6x9. It's got the little drawstring at the top, and inside it's got branded Post-it notes and branded pens with my business name on it, just a little handful of some mints and my business cards. And that's what I leave them, so that they've got something with my contact information that they can use, like pen and Post-it notes. I mean, I live off Post-it notes. So that's something. And I make sure the pen is great. Like it's a really easy, smooth writing pen, something that people want to pick up.
Yeah.
So that my contact information is right there whenever they need it. Okay. But you can do all kinds. I mean, honestly, go to the dollar store, the $1.25 store now, And you can find or there's Pop Shelf or Five Below, or, all those little discount stores, even Target and Walmart. They have great little tiny gifts. It could be a Dove chocolate bar. It could be, something themed like St. Patrick's Day is coming up. You can bring them some silly, clover glasses, or the little headbands that have like the clovers up there, something fun like that.
I love when the office staff matches my corny. Like I'll come in there dressed up, being so silly, bringing them weird stuff, and they're like the ones that are down, and I'm like, "You're my people."
But you know what, though? When you walk in, so here's my opening line when I walk in to introduce myself and my business. I brought you a gift.
Okay.
So look what you just did, Amber. You instantly smile, and
Okay.
I'm not giving you a gift right now, right? So still smile. It makes everybody smile. And so when that happens, when you see them smile, it just does something to you, like lowers that anxiety just a little bit. And they're like, oh, and they lean in and they want to talk to you then.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So that's
I
a great little trick when you are dropping off pop-ins to meet people.
Absolutely. I like that idea. I don't know if you guys caught that, but that's a way to bring your own anxiety down when you see that they're smiling and they're intrigued with, okay, what do you have to talk about, versus the you walk in and it's the straight face and they're looking like another notary, or what do you got? We had like 5 of you come in already this week, And then when you see them smiling and engaging, and it's like, okay,
yeah,
I might get my foot in the door today.
And human beings match the energy of the person they're talking to.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to run into some people, receptionists. Don't you dare ever, guys, call them gatekeepers. They are valuable parts of that office staff. In fact, a lot of them do the hiring, so don't treat them that way. But if you go in with that kind of attitude, or I want to talk to the escrow officer or the attorney, not the receptionist, they're going to pick up on that. And so they're going to block you. So you've got to make sure your energy is a little up and happier, because that's where they will meet you. Instead of if you come in and you're just like, here, they're not going to, they're not going to meet you in a good place either.
I agree. Very good. Okay, let's see. I scrolled all the way up so I can get some of you early commenters. Where was that one that was about how do you convince people to use you for notary work over going to the bank and getting the service for free? They hear that a lot.
I love this question. First of all, first things first, that's Danny, right? So Danny, you're not convincing anybody of anything. If you think that marketing, and I'm not saying this like in a bad way, but you have to get the idea that marketing is about convincing somebody to use your services. When you're walking into an office, your entire goal is to allow them to see your professionalism. You're not going in there to pitch them. You're not going in there to convince them of anything.
Mm-hmm.
That to me feels very like used car salesman-y, and I don't want that, like,
Yeah.
I don't want to feel salesy either.
Right.
But if you think that way, you're gonna feel salesy, and then you're gonna feel resistant to going in. Your whole goal is just to kickstart a relationship. Let them know who you are, how you present yourself, have a small conversation, leave a little gift. All the selling, the convincing, all of those things happens in the follow-up and the monthly email that happens every month after the initial follow-up. And addressing things like going to the bank. There's a lot of banks out there, Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, all the big ones. They won't notarize anything anymore because they don't want the liability. And so if someone were to say to me, if I'm telling them about my services and they were to say, oh, well, I can just go to the bank for that, I would just hand them my card. I wouldn't try and prove anything to them. And I would just say, if you ever have any difficulty at the bank or going to a shipping center, just give me a call. I can meet you wherever you need me to meet you. And that's it. Not everybody's going to be your customer.
Right.
Some people want to go to UPS.
Yeah.
They don't want to have a mobile notary. And that's okay. They're just not your customer.
Not your customer.
Yeah.
Yes, I would say don't get offensive when people they don't want to use you. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's has their own opinion and own, thoughts on, where they want to do business at. And so,
And they're entitled to those thoughts,
Right. Don't take it personal. Just give them a business card, smile, and thank them for their time and keep it moving.
The best way to not feel like a salesperson is to not be a salesperson.
Mm-hmm.
Go in authentically you with all your vulnerabilities, which, by the way, all those vulnerabilities you think about, those are the things that actually attract you to other people. So that's our humanness. Nobody expects perfection. And knowing that, and it helps kind of really keep the nerves down too.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Thea asked, how do we get people to trust us if we are newly commissioned versus experienced notaries?
Well, this is where good training comes in, Thea. And so in the case where, you don't have years and years of experience, and I know that's the case for a lot of you, it's not about, oh, I can't do this because I don't have experience. That's another resistance that you're telling yourself, right? Another excuse. This is where you can lean into your training. And so to be able to say, I have been trained by the Notary Training Hub to do this, apostille or loan or whatever it is that you're doing, that's kind of where you want to, lean into that. It's okay to tell people that you are starting a new business.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to say, I have started a new business here in Dallas and Texas, and this is what I do, and I am looking to build my clientele.
Absolutely.
There's going to be some people that are really excited by that, like, oh, a new business owner. There's going to be some people that are like, I'm not going with somebody unless they have at least 10 years of experience. That person, that's not your customer. You got to focus on the ones that don't mind that you're new and starting out, and you will be surprised how many business owners, shipping centers, even the banks, how much they want to help you build your business. They get excited by it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The Bank of America over here by me sends quite a few business or customers to me and at my office over here.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, like you said before, they don't do certain documents for liability purposes, or their notary is not available.
Right.
So yeah, it's just exactly everything that you said.
Yeah.
Sure.
And a lot of places just don't want the liability. UPS now makes you, if you do bring something to have notarized there, they make you like sign this digital pad saying that you hold no liability, yada, 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 for any mistakes or anything like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I took my commission, my last commission I got in 23. I took it to the UPS store just because I was out, it was convenient. And they notarized it wrong.
Yeah.
Anyway, so.
But for people that are getting into this, that's why we stress training, learning your state laws, practicing your handbook, because even these establishments like UPS, like, shipping stores, or even some of these corporate companies or just businesses who hire or use their employees as notaries, they do the notarization incorrectly every day.
And that creates a liability for them.
They just stamp everywhere on the document. I'm like, there's no way that you thought this was okay.
Yep.
Like, oh my gosh. So yes,
Or they throw a stamp every time it says seal, and they just throw their stamp there, and it's like, what are you doing? This, happens all the time. It's never ceases to amaze me, and this is especially true in the real estate world, because escrow officers are notaries, their assistants are notaries. It never ceases to amaze me how little they know about notarial law. And again, being a part of a community, taking extra training, looking at certifications in the beginning are important so that you can know your stuff. And when you know your stuff, that comes across in conversation.
Absolutely. And when you don't know your stuff, it also comes across during your appointments and in your marketing. They
Yeah.
can tell. They can tell. Okay, so we have time for, let's do 2 more questions, and then if you still have questions, keep them in the comments, because again, through the replay, we can still come back in and type in a reply and answer you that way. Okay, so Veda or Vada, I don't want to say it wrong. It's Willingham, Mrs. Willingham says, what type of business do we pop in other than a mortgage loan office or real estate office?
Ooh, girl. You can pop into attorney offices. You can pop into shipping centers. You can go to tattoo parlors. You can go to wineries. You can go to assisted living facilities, care facilities, adoption agencies. Oh my God. What am I forgetting?
Everywhere.
Everywhere needs a note. We were talking about this before we even came on. Home builders, the cannabis industry. If you live in a state that has legalized cannabis, palliative care, which is hospice, surrogacy agencies, vehicle title transfers, any other business that needs a notary. And I think we did say earlier, remember, like basically every business needs a notary at some point.
Every industry requires a
Bail
notary.
bonds, yes. Wineries do need notaries to ship things to certain states. Yes, they do. Tattoo parlors need them because those 16 and 17-year-olds have to have mommy and daddy's permission before they can get a tattoo because they're not 18 yet.
Yeah. So yeah, don't limit yourself to just mortgage companies and real estate offices. Okay, there's a whole world of opportunity out there.
Absolutely.
A whole world of opportunity.
And enough business for all of us, and then some. There's 4.5 million notaries in this country, and there is more than enough business for all of us out there.
Absolutely. Okay, last question. Let's get it. They're all good, but I'm going to get one that we probably hear that people really want to know. Okay, let's do this one, the liability question from Jess.
Oh, yeah.
What about our liability? If banks don't want the liability, as an independent contractor, I can't afford liability. So I guess your question is, banks aren't doing it because there's liability issues. Why should we be doing it? Right?
Yeah.
Is that maybe your question, Jess? And then I guess, Jen, you can answer this, but liability insurance is relatively inexpensive as well.
It is relatively inexpensive, and that's what you get as you start your business. And the first thing you need to do is get yourself some errors and omissions insurance in case of any kind of issue. You, as an individual, don't have a target on your back the way a bank would, right? They hold all the money. So any kind of little error, and I'm sure they have gotten sued, which is why they have this policy now. Somebody sued them because a notarization didn't go right, and they're like, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to pay for legal fees and that kind of stuff. And while that sounds scary as an individual business owner, we have the insurance in place to cover, and you absolutely should buy this if you're starting a business. And I think you have a whole class on this, don't you, Amber?
On what?
On setting up your business and insurance and all that kind of stuff?
Business, yeah. No, just in the Notary 101 basic class, we talk about that as well.
Okay, yeah. So and that's why you have that, to protect yourself in the events of anything that goes sideways. And it doesn't happen often. It doesn't happen often, but that's why you have insurance, just like that's why you have insurance on your car and for medical and all of those other things. And I think it's also, this is my personal feeling, I'm not telling anybody what to do, but I think it's also important to protect yourself and your personal assets, your house, your car, to set up an LLC so that you're running your business you can still file that on a Schedule C. You don't have to do separate corporate taxes or anything. But filing with your business with the state also helps mitigate risk for your own personal assets.
Right. Absolutely. That should be like when you're starting a business, that should be part of the budgeting is let's go ahead and secure the insurance before we get out there, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You want to protect yourself because you just never know. I mean, hopefully you never use it. And I think the other thing it's important to note when it comes to errors and omissions, depending on the services you offer, you may need to get more. And I'm specifically talking about loan signings. A lot of title companies, if you work direct, require a much larger policy than you would need if you don't deal with home closings.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Before we wrap up, where can all the people find you, connect with you, and work with Marketing for Notaries?
Well, you can find us online at marketing4notaries.com. In fact, today, Amber, I just released a bunch of new videos that you can purchase individually. They're priced anywhere from $28 to $58. And it's things like how to write your elevator pitch. I've got a fabulous one that's small town marketing tactics.
Okay.
Folks, I mean, these ideas work in the big city too, but I get a lot of questions like, Jen, you live in Dallas. I live out, in a small town in Oklahoma. I can't market the way you do. So I have a whole series on small town marketing stuff. There's all like professional communication, how to make a good referral, all kinds of really interesting stuff that you don't need to subscribe to get. You can just buy individually.
Awesome.
And then we also have a community on School and the School platform. Have you ever been over to School platform?
I have.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a community there, also Marketing for Notaries. You can access it on the website. And that's where we talk about fear and resistance, and we hype each other up, and we swap pop-ins that we make and share ideas and what worked and what didn't, and help me. I'm going to this networking meeting and I don't know what to wear, or I don't know what to say, or, all of those little things that is so important in a support network that we all need when we're individual business owners, because what we do can be kind of lonely.
That's what I was exactly about to say. Solopreneurship, most of us are getting out of corporate America, out of where we're working with coworkers, and you're an employee. It's going, and you don't have anybody to bounce ideas off of. You don't have anybody to talk to, rant to, vent to, share your wins to. And there's nothing like a notary community where everybody else is just as crazy about talking about notary as you are. Because to be a notary business owner, any business owner, you kind of have to be like that level of like obsession. Okay. And so talking about it, breathing it, learning it, nobody else is really, my mom doesn't want to hear all that. My friends are like, what are you talking about? But when I go to the community, they're all on it. They're responding. Great. Love it. Get it, print it, publish it, do it. Well, so yes, community for sure.
It's so important. And a lot of times too, unfortunately, I mean, this is not for everybody, but we even have spouses or partners that don't understand what we're doing or may not even support it. And, we have to kind of prove ourselves to them in a way. So for that aspect too, it's so important to just have a community that, you can talk about how this pop-in went really, really well, and you want to share your success story and get all the good feedback because you want to keep that good feeling going, right?
Absolutely.
And the opposite applies too when it's not been a great day and you need to reach out and have somebody lift you up. And so the community itself is subscription only, and that's actually the only way you can access the training videos for the 5-point marketing system themselves. But here's the best part about it. It's only $25 a month. So, and you can cancel whenever you want. So it's
take that one coffee out of your, rotation for a minute. You know what I'm saying? It's like, then you get all the benefits of something that's benefiting and growing your business. I have to put it in perspective for some people are like, $25. Okay. You just spent $40 on so and so over there. This is your business. Like, let's invest in ourselves.
I love that. I mean, yeah, like how much did you spend on drinks at dinner last night? You
Right.
could have spent that to get, a high level marketing support. Because like I said, when we started this interview, you have to have a marketing plan, or
Mhm.
you are going to spend more money than you need to, more time than you need to, trying to build relationships. Once you have a clear understanding of what's expected of you to go from being a notary to a notary entrepreneur, you're able to insert this plan into your business, and you will start seeing the fruits of your labor.
Mhm.
It doesn't take 12 months to make the money, but by the 12th to 18th month with consistency, you're kind of able to sit back a little bit more, and
Mhm.
you don't have to go to as many networking meetings. You don't have to do all of the other the marketing things, the pop-ins and stuff, because you have a good roster of clients
Yeah,
that are keeping you busy.
absolutely. Yes, I could actually go on and on that little topic there, but good,
Oh,
good
listen,
gems. Anything else um, for when they can, where they can find you? Website, email,
I am
website?
on I'm on TikTok. I know you are the TikTok queen. I am my age. I'm in my 50s, so I'm like, oh, I got to deal with TikTok. But I'm on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube and all of those things, and everything is at marketing the number 4
No.
notaries.
Okay.
So check it out. Come follow me. I give all kinds of great tips and things too. So um, let's hang out. Let's build the business of your dreams. I am ready for it.
Awesome. Well, this has been so good. Thank you so much for sharing your journey, wisdom, and straight up gold nuggets with us today. We truly appreciate you, Jen.
Thank you so much, Amber. I appreciate you. And this has been so fun. I love this. This is great. I hope you guys all have a fabulous evening. Thanks for tuning in and hanging out with us.
Thank you. If you all enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow, share, go ahead and comment. You guys know I'm there to respond all the time. And if you're serious about growing your notary business, make sure you check out Marketing for Notaries. And until next time, happy stamping. Bye, guys.
Bye.